Is that an 18-inch bar? Holy crap. Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, I have got a few other little top-handle chainsaws. This one looks like it has an 18-inch bar on it. You believe that? So these are Craftsman branded chainsaws. I've got two of them. Both of them have problems. This one, the recoil pull cord is pulled out, and this one has got other problems. Let's see if we can maybe get one of these two saws running and cutting some wood today. Welcome to Man Time. Man, somebody really liked these chainsaws, I think. This one's got like a brand new steel green safety chain on it. Looks like this one might even be a Pico. Could be 3/8 low profile. Anyways, this one looks to be in really good shape. These Craftsman saws are actually a Poulan saw. But I couldn't find this exact model. So this one is a 358, 355, 161, and that one's a 358, 355, 050, or something like that. Looked on Acres site, Chainsaw Collector's Corner website, couldn't find this exact one. Couldn't find this exact one with this recoil style on there either. But it says it's a 2.1 cubic inch. So it's, you know, slightly bigger than the 2.0, slightly smaller than the 2.2, which I think is like 38 cc. So the 2.0 is like 32. 2.2 is going to be like 38 cc. So this one is somewhere in the middle, around 35 cc. So really good, you know, size, weight, should have good power. I'm really excited to jump in here and work on a this one is going to be a truly, you know, American-made chainsaw. And again, it's not a climber saw. There's no climbing provisions on it. It is strictly a use on the ground hand saw, right? Like they were originally introduced. So, again, the brake system on these is a little lacking. Let's get in on the bench and see what we can do about getting one of these fixed up. It looks like this one's missing parts. The case is not fully back together on it. Let's get a close look at both of them and see what's going on with them. Well, I got them all cleaned up here, and I'd like to start just by getting the bars and chains off of them. I think I'm going to work on both of them just because I want to get a full parts list to make both of them you know, fully functional again. And it even came with this neat little tool. It looks like they threw in, you know, a flathead combo. So this would be like the scrunch for this type of saw. Of course, it doesn't fit, you know, everything. And to get the bar off, you need to get all of, I guess this. Oh wait, there it comes. Oh, hello. Well, that's convenient. I saw some videos where they're like taking a bunch of stuff off to just get this off. But I guess, like I said, it's missing the bolt for the rear here. So, I guess we can go straight from here to taking it apart. And I like this steel green chain they got on here. Pretty nice. Let's see here. There we go. And the bar. Looks like a pretty common bar pattern too. I don't know what. Maybe it's Oregon. Hard to say. 530, 044, 329, 16. Nice. Nice roller tip on it. Oh, Craftsman branded. 16. Perfect. With a 16-inch brand new chain. Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been really looking for something that can compete with my Steel 020 AV. As far as like power, speed, all that. I mean, this has kind of everything going for it, right? It's actually a reed saw. It feeds directly into the case. And I mean, that's a pretty common way of delivering, you know, your charge to the top end through the bottom end. And I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be just as good, given that it's the same CC and everything. But I am going to continue just to take everything apart. Of course, we'll get rid of this little baffle almost immediately, right? Yeah, we don't need any of that. And we can, from here, get right in here, see the piston. It looks fine, and it was in the top position. And I guess we'll see what kind of plug and what kind of socket we need to get that off. I'm just going to take the whole thing apart, get it all blown out, cleaned up, and then we'll start on the other ones. Well, I'm a little bit further in here, and I'm kind of taking, you know, one apart and then the other one apart and kind of comparing them and making sure things go back together the right way. But yeah, there's 2 bolts, well, supposed to be 3 to hold this handle on. 2 on this, both of them, I guess. To get this handle off here, there's 3 Phillips heads and 1 flathead, and then you're going to need to take this part of the handle off. This part off of there, feed this fuel line through there and let it come out the bottom. Make sure with your trigger it's just held in it's not held in there is the deal, right? It's able to come right out of there. Make sure you don't lose that, and make sure this thing doesn't come out of there because it's not held in there either. So just some gotchas there, some other gotchas. This one's been straight gassed. It's a lost cause. There's I think it's even locked up now. It was moving. Oh yeah, it's still moving. It's locked up on the pull start over there, going that way. But yeah, it's been straight gassed. This one looks real good still. So this is my candidate for rebuild over here. So I'm going to use all the parts on this one to replace the parts that were missing on this one, and hopefully we can get a good saw when it's all said and done. But the next step is going to be to basically get this one down to the stage that this one's in, basically pulling this carb off of there, and I'm going to get rid of this Tygon. I don't like this stuff. I haven't used this in a long time. Even for vacuum lines, it's still kind of questionable. I will use it every once in a while, but definitely not for fuel lines. I mean, this is just hard as a rock, and you can see it still looks fine. It's just not. And you can see this one, I mean, even though it's still pliable, it's all like pinched down, and it's hard, you know, where it's pinched and stuff, so I'm not going to use that. But it looks like from here, this is a separate cover. It has got a couple Allen heads here and here, and one down here. And I should be able to get this off and figure out what I need to take off of this one to get this pull start back to being functional. Well, I've got them both kind of broken down here to the parts that I need. And really interesting, if you're having some issues here, they've actually got a retaining system, and the cord comes out and then around and then back under and then through this little keeper. I think if you're not going to use like the same kind of cord, you're just going to want to knot it, you know, right there. I think that's probably what happened on this one. They pulled it through, and that was the end of it. So, but it's really nice having 2 saws where you can kind of look and see, and have a YouTube video that shows you, really nice and up close, where that cord originally went through, stuff like that. You know how it goes. Other thing, so on the good one here, the sprocket is like completely worn out. Nice enough on the other one, even though it has been straight gassed, it's got a brand new sprocket on it. So I'm going to be changing over, the good stuff to the good saw, obviously, right? So, but that's one thing that's coming. The other thing, I'm just going to put a new cord on there, and we'll go from there. at this point I'm going through and I'm inspecting like all of the parts to make sure that I'm, you know, putting the best saw together based on the parts from the two saws. So yeah, this one looks great. Ended up tying a figure-8 knot right there and then having the end tucked under that little thing there to kind of match it. It's not sticking up too far where it's going to interfere with the pawls or anything, I don't think. So that's going to be the one I'm selecting for that. Also going through selecting, you know, the best clutch, making sure, you know, it moves and is actually going to be doing clutch things. There we go. Like stuff like that. You know, so this one moves, the spring is good and tight. This one also moves and the spring is good and tight. So then it's like checking the outside, making sure I'm selecting the best one. Looks like I'm going to go with this one. And then same thing for the bearings, same thing for, you know, just every part of it. This is actually an Oregon part number 28004, made in Canada. So if you're looking for a replacement sprocket for your Craftsman Poulan, Oregon 28004. Next I'm looking at, you know, bottom ends, crankcases, everything like that. Again, this one is completely scored up. This one actually took the lock washer, lock nut off of this to put on this one, but just making sure like everything, you know, everything is tip-top. This is the good one here, so I'm just going to go back with all of like the best looking parts, and then I'm going to start reassembly. I'm going to get some grease on these. And again, to get that clutch off, I stick some rope, had some excess there from the pull cord, stick some rope down there. I gotta grease that up, but then just hit it with a hammer and a punch, and it's even labeled there, righty, loosey, left-hand threads. So, alright, I'm gonna get these back together, and if there's anything interesting, I'll show you kind of what's going on. So this is probably going to be like the most common repair on these saws. It looks like they used the Tygon from the factory, and you know, after 5 or 10 years it just gets hard as a rock. So I go back with Echo Shindoa 5x3. It just goes in there pretty smooth from the side once you get this, you know, part of it off. Clip that off, and then I go back with these filters with that cotton style, and they do go in here. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but that's kind of what you want. And I'm actually going to use some lube to get that on here. Oh, look at there, I got oil sitting right on my counter. A little bit of oil on there, and it should just go right in there. Yeah, nice. And then but yeah, super easy to do it that way. And then I should have enough to continue on and up through the saw with that there. Okay, let's get it back together. So this runs kind of down like that, and that kind of runs through there. Yeah, that's the way that's supposed to go. Right like that. And then it comes up and snaps on there. Beautiful. Alright, just so you can see it to verify. Lots of Loctite. Yeah, these magnesium cased saws, you really want to use Loctite with them. If these start wiggling around and loosening up, it'll just wear the threads, you know, right out of your case. And then you've got to like step up and, you know, drill out, re-tap. It's just a pain. So use some good Loctite. Even red Loctite wouldn't be a bad idea on this. Well, some people may not have taken the carb off, because I took this side off and it's like somebody just put a new carb kit in this one. But you look here, that does not look correct. So let's dig in a little bit deeper here and just verify. That's on there correct. I mean, it's close. Something doesn't look right here. This piece is correct. This piece is throwing me for a loop here. Are you? No, that can't be right. It's not sitting in the right spot here. No, that's not the right. It's not the right gasket. Yeah, see, this wasn't lined up. Let's line it up with the top here and just see what we're working with. Yeah, it should line up like that. See, and it does not line up. See, these dowels make sure you're getting the right thing on there, and that is not it. So this would not have ran with this in there. I hope it is a K10 WAT. This is my last. Oh, I got two of them. Alright, and there's two different ones in here. Perfect. Okay. See if I can just sneak one of them out here. Yes. Yes, this one will fit. That's how that's supposed to go on there, right? It covers up the hole here, covers up the hole there, allows flow through there. This is it. Filter, that's actually a new filter in there. It's not seated quite correctly. So I'm going to blow this out with some brake clean, but this is correct. Let's just show you how it goes here. So we're all in this together. See, that goes on there perfectly like that. Then this is going to go on there, line up with these holes, and then those flaps are going to sit perfect in those recesses there. And then that's all going to mate up, you know, perfectly with that one. And I've still got a full carb kit, because this one, everything else looked, well, it looked like a new carb kit, because it was a new carb kit. If you get out of sorts on your choke, it sits like this. This little tab sits underneath of that when it's on full choke. And that way, you know, this actually means something. Going like that does actually choke it, you know. Okay, let's get our fuel line hooked up. Trim that up a little bit. There we go. And then let's see, air filter. We got one of those. Clean that off. That sits in there like that. And then we're going to unchoke to go on to there. There. Okay, and then I think these were a couple flatheads. Yeah. Alright, so this whole top end is now serviced and done. And we don't have to worry about it. Now we can go back and get our handle on there, side cover, chain, bar, all of the goodies. And as you can see here, old dirt bike trick, just drill a hole right there. You know, it's going to have some chips, but most of the chips are going to be this side, you know, of it. Making it all the way around to there is going to be a little bit difficult, but That should give it a lot of airflow. Where before it's kind of having to travel under and through in here. Didn't really like that. You know what? I better check for spark while I'm here. That's probably a smart thing to do. Alright, so we want on, and we want spark. Yeah, I see it. Very weak spark. Oh, you know what? One's plastic and one's metal. Huh. Yeah, this one, I like the way this one looks and fits. Well, the real question here is how much of this exhaust do I want stifled? Oh, and this one has. So it had. So here's I think the original configuration, right? You've got this on one side, this on another side, screen in between, and then just this top cover on top. So what I am going to do, I am just going to go with screen and straight out. Because you need something in there to space it off of this, right? So that's what that is. So this is just going to be a straight shot exhaust. Yeah, this is about to get real fun real fast. Yeah, I don't know. It feels okay. That's a pretty tight chain and it's moving pretty easily. What I don't know is if this organ, so this is an organ non-safety chain. It came off, man, I was going to give it a little touch up, but I think it's good to go. 16-inch Poulan bar, and the sprocket was with this bar and chain. So I'm assuming the sprocket is for this chain, although I don't know if it's 3/8 low profile or 325. Pretty hard to tell. It looks smaller than the steel safety chain. This isn't full chisel, but it's a lot better than this rolled safety chain edge. This is where we're going right here. Let me get some gas in here. Yes, I'm a handsaw. Yes, I have an 18-inch bar. What are you going to do about it? This is the funnest part for me anyway, seeing if this old girl's going to come to life. Start, choke. Look at this. Is it 16 or 18? It's an 18-inch bar. So there's no half throttle. Probably a little rich. Seemed like it was pretty rich on the high jet there. Let's just go to one and one. Man, I tell you what, this this saw has beat me today. It has absolutely beat me up. So you saw there, it sounded like, I mean, it just kind of died, right? Well, the problem was, the problem was it was an intermittent problem. Those are the hardest ones to find. I thought for sure it was spark, and then it started like not getting gas and like not bringing gas up, and then so I thought for sure, you know, it was this reed, and you can hear it kind of bouncing on and off there. I'd swapped it, you know, back to front, and I thought, you know, maybe it wasn't sealing quite right, and it wasn't, and it's still not. So then I swapped this over with that, and then the carb started leaking, and then so I swapped the parts from one carb over to the other carb, and then it still wasn't getting spark. It was getting spark intermittently. And it turned out it was the prong that goes into the wire, you know, that holds the end of the spark plug. But I think I've got it licked. Let's see if it will restart. Some of these are just tough. All right, let's go put it in some wood. All right, man. Well, every saw that I bring out here to compare against another handsaw is against the 020 AV steel. And if this thing doesn't hang with this, then, you know, I don't know. It could actually be a viable option. I'm trying to put together a good video on a two-saw plan. Of course, my two-saw plan includes a handsaw. But these 020s are pretty tough to find anymore, and these Poulans / Craftsman, these things are a dime a dozen. So let's make some cuts with each one and just kind of see where they sit. The bar on this one is just, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Now that was really something. I mean, that was really something, right? Whew. I think I ran out of bar oil, so that one's probably hurting a little bit. I love these little hand saws. It's amazing what you can do with a little 35 to 40 cc saw. I was able to dig this one in and like actually force it through the wood. But man, this one really is actually a pretty good saw. I mean, really a good saw. Yeah, I'm going to be trialing this one out in the woods and in some trees and stuff like that. This bar, I mean, this almost makes it a one saw plan type of saw. And it does oil like crazy. Like as I was trying to get it running, just pulling it over, it oils like crazy. Just oils like crazy. I don't think it's got a, I think it just oils all the time. Like anytime the crank is spinning, the oiler is pumping oil. So it ran out of oil, and now it's running a little hot. But man, that's a good little saw. I would, if you can find one of these or a couple of them, like you've got like a parts saw with it. If I ever sold these, I would sell them as a pair, you know, parts saw to go with it, because man, this thing was running really good. Yeah, recommended. If you like this type of stuff, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Like I said, I've got a couple videos coming up here. I'm going to do like a video on the best 2-saw plan, and then a video on the best homestead chainsaw. I've got several now. If I could go back in time and start over, like what are the one or two saws that I would get. So those videos are going to be coming up. Make sure to subscribe to catch those. Otherwise, get out there, have you some man time too. Well, bad news on this one, fellas. Yeah, some of them just can't be saved. That bogging after the cut there, I had another saw doing that one, and then I came back and tried to tune it. All of a sudden, it just became untunable, and so we'll see if we can show you the problem here on camera. That was spraying it right down behind the clutch there, and yeah, that clutch side seal is gone, and so yep, that's one bad thing with old saws. Those seals get old, and then once they get hot and ran hard, and sometimes they just give up. So I don't know. I've got another crankcase. I might see if that crank seal's available still. If it is, I don't know. It ran pretty good, but now it's not anymore. Get out there, have some man time too.